whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hooker force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira whakarongo pi kari mai. Hare mai, o Taringa hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
E te iwi ngai Taringa, tēnā hoki mai anei kia Taringa e whakapāhu atu nei i roto i te mīharo, i roto i te wairua harakoa, tūranga hakoa, pārekareka. I nā hoki kua eke a Taringa ki tana whakapāhotanga tahi rau.
Yeah!
Mau te wehi. And so we're at 100. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought there would be 10,000 of you, 10,000 more listeners.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows, watches I tēnei rā. So, anei tētahi special episode mō Taringa. And we've got some special guests. Kare te moho koe.
I wonder who.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, so we're going a bit different with our normal Taringa schedule. So listen out for the kiuaha that we'll be just using naturally.
Yeah. There'll be a few being thrown around, I'm sure of it today.
Yeah, so looking forward to it. So any thoughts anyway about the past episodes, your involvement in Taringa, any whakaaro e hoa ma? We reached our 100th episode.
Yeah.
It's been a massive privilege.
Yeah.
It's been, the best thing is, the feedback I get from people with the interactions I have is how much it helps them. And that's the best thing.
Yeah.
You know, I never realised what that meant, they're realising that this, it's giving value to what people is and to what people are learning.
Yeah. And then it's really cool to see it consolidated, like we get all the questions in on our Facebook. When I'm out and about, people say, I was listening to this.
Yeah.
And when's the next episode coming out? And who's the next iwi o te wiki? So it's pretty cool to see that people are actually engaging with it.
Kia ora.
Ka pai.
I had someone message me, say last week I was in Pōneke. I was heading to Pōneke and I got a karere from someone saying, I listened to your the Taringa about tākaro Māori. And I think I said I've never played with a pōtaka before. And this person that contacted me, kia ora hāmi, he said he makes pōtaka. And he wanted to send us some.
Oh, cool.
As a koha or as a acknowledgement for the mahi that we do on Taringa. So anyway, he was going to send them to me. And then I said, where do you live? He says, Pōneke. And I said, well, I'm going down there for hui. I'll let you know when I'm there. Well, he came to my hui, he brought the pōtaka. So I'll bring them in another time and we can have a bit of a tutu. E rere nei ngā mihi kia koe hāmi. Anei I tō whakaaro rangatira ke homa e pōtaka hei mahi mā mātou. Nō reira, e mihi ana, e whakamahi mā mātou.
Almost like a spin-off from what we've done here today. Ooh.
Hōnu tēnā. Too much. Oia no, ai.
I think... Just you fellas carry on. I'm going to see who that is.
Right.
Might be a special guest or something. Yeah, so won't be long. We'll see who it is.
Yeah, what's been your favourite moments so far on our 100 episodes?
Oh, tēnā koe.
Kia ora, brother. Kia ora, morena. I think someone's in my park.
Oh, okay.
I think ngā toki mata whauru has taken the tauranga of Te Arawa
Has
waka.
Te Arawa turned up that day? I'm not surprised.
Would it be your waka, would it?
Actually, yes, it is. It's my waka. But we can move our waka. Yes. But we're doing something first upstairs. I was wondering if you'd like to join us.
E kawhi kei rei?
Ai, kawhi anō.
Tāua tēnā,
tēnā.
Ka wai.
No, pai tērā, kaupapa kōrero.
Yeah, what should I say?
Good.
I'm sitting there.
It's up to you.
You guys wouldn't guess who I've just met down the door. We've taken his parking.
Who?
He took my car park. Took my car park.
Whiana pala.
Ai.
Kua rangatira. Pai ana. Pai ana pala. Nau mai.
Tēnā koe.
Kapiti mā?
Tono kawhi ka te puaheiri.
Ka rero.
It's off to make me a coffee, my mate.
We just got a message.
You're the perfect person for it. Someone messaged our Taringa page and asked, how can I use mōreo at home?
How can I? Oh, gee, good question.
And because, you know,
Well,
you use reo at home.
yes, 100% of the time with our tamariki. A bit of a commitment that we made when our firstborn came around, Hawaiki James, 12 years ago. No plan, of course, just decided that we'd speak exclusively in te reo, give him his birthright and his heritage language, something that we missed out on. So off we went. Ngā piki me ngā heke, ngā uawatanga, ngā taupātanga, all of the difficulties and obstacles, but we're still maintaining it 100% at home at the moment. But, you know, if you're starting off on that journey, like your person there's made contact and with that question, I think it's, just make a start, even if it's just individual words.
Yeah.
I always talk about, you know, like people tend to put labels on things when they want to start off, and they'll put ngaruiti on the microwave oven and learn that word. But that only works if you give yourself a bit of a time frame, like a week to learn it, and then you've got to take the label off. People just leave labels on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Subconsciously they don't commit it to memory because they know it's there, so they can just look at it and go, put it in the, there's the word ngaruiti, but you've got to commit to memory.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, so you've got to
Put
have
the
initiative
labels
to do
on
it.
and then give yourself a time.
Okay, I'm just going to
and
write
start
that
small.
down.
Start small, eh?
Right.
You know, start small. If you're gonna, you know, start to bring some language, some te reo Māori into your home, start small, and then just start building, and eventually you want to get to a point where you start to bring in rumaki, some immersion environments, and it might be from when you get up in the morning until you go to school, but you might need a bit of a plan and a bit of strategy and some steps to get to that point, because not all of us are, you know, have fluency in te reo.
So you don't want to go, okay, from this time, like for the te roanga o te rā, me kōrero Māori, you want to start on...
Depends what
digestible
the capacity is, from the whānau. Depends if you've got speakers there. If you haven't got speakers there and you're starting from scratch, might take a bit of time to get to that point. And
Did you gradually build it up before your son was born?
Well, fortunately, I was at a reasonable level of reo, and Stace was...
Not bad, he's not bad.
Stace was still learning off this fellow and all his mates, but, you know, I was at a reasonable stage, and Stace was sort of, she would say herself, about an intermediate level, because, you know, it's contextual, functional, and... When we didn't have kids, when I don't need to know all the words for the playground equipment.
Yeah.
And it's not in my world.
You're like me, the gym equipment, you know.
Oh, yeah. So, but because that all of a sudden became part of our lives and our daily lives, we had to sort of work out, okay, we need to know the word for the seesaw and the string thing and the net climber and all that kind of stuff, because if we want to make sure that we're still speaking language in that context and that environment, we need to learn that kind of language. So, it was almost like learning a whole new language altogether.
That's so true, especially because a lot of it's instructional way for your kids. Me pēne, kaua pēra.
Oh, you're pretty sharp there, Pua.
Well, you know, I'm a parent now, so I've had to enter into that type of that language setting.
Absolutely.
So you can't use whai kōrero on them or, you know, things and stuff like that.
It's a particular style of language, whai kōrero. And it's not really a language that you'll use on a daily
Whakapai
basis.
tō rima, ke pai ai tō rima. Tēnā koe. But that sounds very mean, That sounds pretty cool.
Honui tō kai, honui.
Tēnā homai te tote. That'd be pretty mean. I'll teach you that next time on the wharekai. So keeping a bite size and realistic by the sounds of things, eh?
That's a few. That depends. What people usually do is they'll take a bit of a stock take of their whānau, and you'll work out, okay, who can speak Māori or who's got some kind of capacity to maintain the kaupapa, and that'll dictate how quickly you'll start to become implement immersion zones or immersion times or immersion contexts into your everyday lives. Ooh. But if you already got the fluency, then you can just do it straight away. But then you just got to work out, you know, how are you going to learn new vocab so we can maintain it in a different context that we're going to be in. But yeah, it's like, you know, I remember learning about whales and dolphins when I was doing the reo. At Waikato. And I've never talked about whales or dolphins since, but we spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time learning about them.
About whales and
dolphins.
That's
in Te Mahuri, eh?
Yeah,
that's too. Yeah, Te Kuwa.
It's almost a whole chapter.
Te Wera.
And I mean, those are fantastic courses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely courses, but it kind of hasn't assisted me as such to speak Māori on a daily basis, because I don't talk about whales and dolphins on a daily basis. So, you know, that's sort of what you got to be cognizant of and aware of. when you're thinking about speaking Māori at home, especially with kids, the tuku iho tanga o te reo, the intergenerational language transmission is what's the functional language I need to know to be able to maintain an immersion environment with the kids, but it's a language that's usable, usable language.
That is so true.
And so, where can like-minded parents go for that type of support or hear this type of kōrero? Are there workshops or are there anything going on?
I mean, that's why when we started off, we had no mates. Still got no mates, bro. That's why I love to hear from you, Greg. When I get that one text every 6 months, like, oh, choice.
What does he want? What does he want?
Usually wanting something, come to this Kaupapa. But that's what when we first started off with our young boy, we sort of were thinking, okay, so we're doing this, bringing this child up into reo, but is anybody else doing this? Because we need the socialisation.
That's the other thing. So
we're going, okay, so we need to reach out and see if any other whānau in the big Tāmaki area are doing this. And Rui Aperahama and his wife Erina were just, they had their boy about 2 weeks after us. So we hooked up with them and then we thought, okay, let's create a play group and see who else is around. And so we created this play group, got some funding off Mā Te Reo. And then that grew into Māori for Grown-Ups. That's our sort of community group that we've developed here in Tāmaki, which has got about 14,000 followers on Facebook now. And there's a lot of interaction about te reo I te kāinga. How do we say this and how does this work, or who's got resources? We run wānanga, all on functional language. Not so much around the old, this verb goes here and this is a transitive verb and this is a relative clauses, all of that. Because it goes over the heads of a lot of people. So it's just about, if you want to tell them to flush the toilet, here's a way you can say it. Hirere tia te wai o te heke tua. Practice saying that. Practice saying that,
sounded really
something
good.
Like that.
How te kupe Māori more toys?
Toys? Oh, there's a lot, bro. There's taka wairo there, I think. Now because I think the whai puhiko ones are the taka wairore. I think that's what they're doing, using those. That word for there. And then there's the newa, which are the soft toys and all that kind of stuff. So we just kind of got basically a broad term. We just say tapu.
Tapu, yeah.
But we have a bit of fun. But the rewarding thing about bringing the kids up in the reo, and you have to celebrate, So if you're going to implement it, have your celebrations and stuff when things start to go well, and make sure, like it might be, so if we can maintain the reo in the context of having dinner at night, say for about the first 10 minutes of our meal tonight, you guys can pick what the pudding is or something, a bit of a reward thing, just to put the value on it, give them the motivation to stay in the reo. There's a whole lot of different strategies you can use, And the rewarding thing is like when your kids, I remember one time we were driving somewhere and one of the kids did a pātero tetahi o ngā tamariki te tūru o muri te waka. And pātero, hilarious to kids, hilarious. Ha ha ha. We're saying, geez, te haunga hoki, haunga pūtane o te pāterora. Kotahi ka wānanga, ka tohe ngā tamariki. Had a bit of an argument, who did the pātero? Nā wai te pātero, no te pātero, hari au te pātero, no ke te nā pātero. And everything. And then our 12-year-old boy, Waiki, says, he who smelt it, dealt it. And we're like, screech, stop, hey, reo Pākehā tēnā. You need to work out how we say that in the reo.
Whakamauritisia.
So off we go, and so there we go now, our wānanga starts, how do we say he who smelt it, dealt it in the reo? And it was quite a funny conversation, but eventually we came up with the old, nānei hi, kui ei hi, nānei ha. And that's what we say. But it's just whakangahu hoki, you got to have a lot of fun, keep the kids engaged, fun. Attaching value, all of that kind of stuff. That's how we're sort of keeping our kids on it. And the reward comes when our 6-year-old girl, when she was 6, and she composed this little saying, and she says it without fail every day before we drop her off to school. She goes, teitei ake i te rangi, hohonu ake i te moana, whānui ake i te ao tukupu taku aroha ki a koe. Which is like, my love for you is higher than the sky, deeper than the ocean, and broader than the universe. And she composed that by herself. Amazing. And she says it all the time. She's 10 now. 4 years she says that. Now we're sitting in the car, ai, but it's still pretty cool, and that's the rewards, and that's what motivates us as parents to stay on the reo buzz and keep talking to them in the reo.
Kia ora.
Yeah. That is so beautiful.
That's cool.
Yeah. And seeing them engage with each other, because a lot of the times we're not that staunch that we keep Pākehā speaking relations out of the house. They can't come around if you don't speak Māori. We're not that staunch.
Wow.
They'll come around and they'll talk Pākehā, but the heartening thing for us is that when our kids are talking directly to each other, they'll go back to Māori.
That's so cool. That means that's their interactional...
And that's the whanaungatanga. That's the relationship that's been built, you know, and that's what they know. And so it'll be unusual for them now to talk English to each other. And that's,
Is this the thinking that went into the books that you
bro.
published?
Well, because we had to do a lot of
sociable,
looking for words and stuff like that, and how do we say this in the reo and all of that kind of stuff. So, and because we had to do a lot of looking in dictionaries and asking people like Timothy and Timothy, how do you say this? And da. So we thought, well, let's just put it all in one book. So anyone else who wants to do this can just, they've just got one resource and they can find most of it there.
Kia ora.
Not saying that everything's in there, but you know, it's a resource to help people.
Yeah, and it's handy to take around. So the Māori Made Easy book series.
And the Māori Made Easy.
Plug. I see what you did there.
That's to help teachers.
I started that, mate.
Let's say Praone's got his whole year planned. You can just walk in and go, okay, here's what we're doing.
I go in there every day.
Turn to page 3 of the
what do we teach you at Panikiri Tangata?
Too much. There's the X.
Me whakarongo pi kari kari.
Well, what about for, you know, because ka huri haere koutou, e mahi nei koutou, you're involved in the kura whakarauora, which is teaching people to language plan. And, you know, what about whānau or couples or whoever that haven't got children? What are some things that they can do? Are these still applicable to adults?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, intergenerational language transmission is not necessarily between, you know, people in the immediate family, and it's not necessarily parents and their own children. It can be the uncle to the nieces and nephews or whatever. You know, it's just getting embedding language in your whānau, whether it be the broader whānau. And then it depends if there's a couple, and you know, it depends how they want their relationship to be, I suppose, and how they see their relationship, because it's quite hard when you meet in Te Reo Pākehā. It's quite hard to change that to a Reo Māori.
That's your language association.
It's quite an effort. So you've got to try and work out some strategies to be able to change that relationship into a Māori language speaking relationship. I know I've got a lot of mates that I haven't really spoken English to.
Right.
And then I've got a lot of mates who I know are Māori speakers, but I speak English to them.
I have the same thing as well.
And it's because it's just the language that we met in. You know, I remember Wiha, Te Raki Hāwea, was one when I met her through Kuroreo and stuff, and you know, had a lot to do with her. And then we went to her house in Ngāru Wāhia, and talking away in Māori, and then one of her neighbours came in, and she started speaking English, and it was the first time I'd heard her speak English, and it was like the Queen's English. And I was looking at her going, who is this person? I don't even know who she is, because she just sounded like a totally different person. And so that's quite a major to change that relationship if you're a couple, but you know, doable. It's always doable. And it's about supporting each other, and you know, how you want your relationship to be.
One thing I've done with people, myself and Nahui, but friends of he oati roto I te reo, and I said, haere ake nei, ka reo e kōrero Pākehā ki a koe. And then once you sort of formalise it and you make that sort of kirimana with that person, it's, you know, ka rongo I te mana o tērā.
Feels a bit weird for a while though, eh?
Yeah, it does.
Feels a little bit weird.
And now they don't talk to him.
Now he's been, defriended.
Well,
the same with like people like Hanno, Regan, people like that who I met at Kuroreo. We've never spoken English. It'd be real weird to be talking
even
English to them.
Yeah,
same. When I'm listening to you speak in English, I'm going, geez, Praone sounds different in English.
Tika tērā.
No, pētau, pai tō reo.
E wairu anō tō te reo.
Koina. And that's the thing is that with our kids, it's te reo karearoto. It really helps them to express their emotions a lot better, I think. And koina te tahe o ngā hua nui a taku whakaro. O te ako ki te kōrero I te reo. Mo te iwi Māori, mena ka ako rātou I te reo, ka kite rātou I etahi huarahi ki anō e putai a rātou o rātou karearoto. Koera te tahi raru, ki au nei e raru nei tātou I te hauarahi mo te hine ngaro era.
E whakapono,
era mea katoa. He reo, he mana tau whiro tō te reo, koera tāku. You know, I believe the language has a lot of transformative powers. And I think if our people knew their language, their heritage language, because we know most of them don't, but even if they came to learn it and made the big effort to learn it, I think they'd find that they'd have a better way of expressing themselves and who they are, which would I think be the remedy for a lot of the ills in our society at the moment, like our mental health, like our prison statistics, all of that kind of stuff. I think whānau ora should have, a big part of whānau ora should be the reo.
Kōrero, tika, me ana.
Yeah, that's koina tāku.
Yeah, Mahara anau tētahi wā e rangahau anau i etahi o nā mahi. A ngā iwi ana, ko te hunga Rastafari, whārai tētahi. You know, they changed some of the words in English because they're confusing. Like, they don't say oppressor because op connotates raising someone up, but oppressor means to press someone down, so they say down presser. They changed the ngā kupu Pākehā. Yeah, and ana, pērā no te tangi o te reo, pēnei he rereke te wairua o te mahunga. When you hear mahunga, it's different to upoko. It sounds like upoko. So if you said, you know, like, mahunga kohua, nah, it doesn't really kararei. When you say upoko kohua, you know, ko te tangi o te reo, me tahi o a tātou kupu whenei te, you know, kaua, kaore. E herereke, ko te wairua o ngā kupu.
Tika. And our language is always evolving too, That's the thing with... if mena e kaha kōrero tia ana te reo e tātou I roto I o tātou whānau ka whanake tonu te reo. Nā ka ora tonu te reo. Puta he oranga hou ki te reo. Because I remember... the thing was, you know, like the kuia hi nane I ha, that's just something that we've created because e whānau kōrero Māori mātou. And there's words that we've created too. I te korengo e tahi kupu. I remember our me and Hawaii talking about shapes, talking about tapatoru, tapawhāri te porohita. And then we had the concave one, and I said to him, ko areare mo tērā momo āhua. And he goes, and then the next day, hawake te rā, ka parakuihi. I said, well, how mau tama, you want Milo, Miro, ko te puarere rane, rice bubbles or Milo. And he looks at the Milo and he goes, korara.
Korara.
And I went, how te korara? He goes, tēnā, kei roti te pauaka kakariki, te korara. And I'm pretty sure he saw the, he saw the box and he saw the shape. He was only about 4 or 5, so he's trying to say, ko areare, korara came out. But that's the word we use for Milo. That's what we understand that to be Milo. But I know that if he goes into the wharekai at your marae and says, e korara māku, the ringa wera there will be going, what? But it's korara. They might know miro, but they won't know korara. But kia nei, e pai e tohu o te whanaketanga o te reo.
And I believe that's how mita came about because of the, you know, the way your settings, your social settings, and that's how you have your own mita at home and stuff like that.
And the good thing about, you know, there's areas in your home, if you're looking at doing reo in the home and immersion, creating immersion environments, it's just you and your kids, or it's you and your whānau in there. So you've got these really intimate times, like if you're in the bathroom with the kids and they're brushing their teeth or brushing their hair or something, and it's just you and one of your children in there, that's a real intimate time where you can use some really good language in there, really rich language and quality language, but you can have a really good intimate kōrero there. There's no one else who can impact on what's been said or can influence anything or influence how they're thinking. It's just you and that child of yours in the bathroom, and you can have a good kōrero in there.
And so that language association goes into that time.
Yeah, different one than you have in the dining room because then everyone else is involved. And they might put their 5 cents worth in or whatever.
Pewhia te kaumātua te tamaitika tahuri koe ki te whakatika hapa.
So we do this thing called passive correction. So we're not really passive like correction. Timoti. You know, we do passive correction. So that's basically, and we entrenched that pretty early. So pretty much all the way through we've been doing it, and it's just about if they come in and they say, Papa he pene koe? And then we'll model back what it should be. He pene tāu. And they know now, because of the tikanga's been going so long and it's been entrenched of passive correction, they know now that if we repeat back to them what they've just said, there was something, a hapa in that sentence, and we're modelling hopefully the correct way of doing it. So we'll go, he pene tāu, and they go, he pene tāu, and then I'll repeat it back how they've heard it. And actually it was old Stan Papa, old Rahui Papa, who I remember did that to me one time at uni, and I never forgot the sentence because I remember we came out of one of our classes and he goes, I know he didn't have a waka to get back from varsity to his house. And I said, nā kei te pai, māku e whakahoki a koe. And he looked at me and he goes, māku koe e whakahoki. And I went, is that how you're supposed to say it? And he goes, yeah, māku koe e whakahoki. He didn't say ia koe. And I went, okay, māku koe e whakahoki. Yeah, ka pai, bro. And I never forgot it.
Cool.
So hopefully I've never stuffed up that ma way sentence ever since. But it's quite a powerful way of correction. But it's we call it passive correction because it's not actually a big you got that wrong, geez, man, you got to do it like this. It's just nice, easy, passive correction. This is how you should say it, but without saying that. Model.
He karangata maiti a māua e noho ana ki tō mātai kāinga ko te kāre anō kua muti, he rita tonu. Anyway, I tērā wiki, the boy goes, uncle, like, hey, kei whete me, muti o mai, kāre anō kia muti. Kāra mai, and I feel me, iki koe kāre anō kia muti. And the other one was mātai tātai.
Celebrate. That's important. You know, you celebrate your little wins, celebrate your little victories, celebrate the little progress. Whether it's make a big deal out of it, because it makes the kids feel good and it makes it feel valued. They value it, you know. So what we've done effectively in our whare is we flipped the mantra of, you know, how for ages we've had mainstream society saying no value in language, no value in te reo. What are you going to use it for? It's not the bread and butter language. The bread and butter language is English. So in our whare we've flipped it. So the mantra in our whare is there's no value in English. Māori's got all the value. Because if you use English in our whare, you're not going to get anything. It's not the bread and butter language. It's not the bread and butter language.
You're not going to get korara.
You go, can I have an ice cream? You've got no chance. You've got no chance at all.
Picking the pudding.
But if you say, hea hikirimi māku, pai ana kia kai hikirimi au. Better chance. Not guaranteed, but at least you got the chance.
He kai prawa.
So it's and you know, I mean, like I said, that's creating the value around it as well. But apart from having rewards and little treats and whatever, just anything you can do to create it, just to keep them in the reo. But yes, it's been an up and down journey, but pai. The rewards are awesome. So if whānau out there are thinking about it, that's what I would say. I'd say start small, even if it's just individual words. Ngaruiti, put it on the label. Put the label on the ngaruiti. Once you get that word locked in after a week, it might only be that one word for the week, it might be 5. Don't label every blooming thing in the house. Or it might be a phrase like waku niho. Hey, ko waku niho koe. Just that little ko waku niho. Have you brushed your teeth? And then what the ngaruiti part. After you learn that word, the ngaruiti, and you got it locked in, that's what you use for microwave all the time. Even if you're speaking English, you say put it in the ngaruiti. The ngaruiti's broken. We need a new ngaruiti. Who's cleaning the ngaruiti today? Or whenever you're going to say, have you brushed your teeth? That's your phrase. Ko waku niho koe. Even if the rest of the conversation is in English, at least you're starting on the journey. You're taking little steps, but you can just build. It's a long game, eh? It's a long game.
Long game. Yeah, that's the best there.
People need to think that it is the long game, and you're planting a seed, and, you know, it needs to grow. And, you know, it's not going to turn into a tree straight away. You need to nurture it.
But what you're actually doing too is you are starting to plant the seeds for your whānau to possibly become a Māori language speaking whānau 3 or 4 generations down the track. You won't see it. You won't see the fruits. But that's the long game. That's the pai tawhiti. Is if you can start to create reo in your whānau, start to see the value in it, the kids then might pick it up, then they start to become fluent, then they have kids. They become fluent speakers, and then hopefully that's where you start to see the fruits of what you're going to do now. So it's a long game, eh? You want to be thinking 3, 4 generations. How do I want my whānau to look? Do I want them to be speaking Māori? So how do I do that now? I need to start now.
Pai. And because we learn everything by the way we grow up in our house, the way we make a cup of tea, how we sit down and have dinner, and stuff like that, way you make your bed. So language would be a part of that. So if it can be as natural as that.
Yeah, that's all the function. That's functional language, all of that kind of stuff, you know. All those conversations you have around tea, making cups of tea. Greeting people, asking questions, apologising, all of that kind of stuff. How do you say all that kind of stuff in the reo? It's all functional.
Rawe. Koia I hi, nāna I ha.
Koia I hi, nāna I ha.
Koina pētā tātou kiwaha. Koina pētā tātou kiwaha mo tēnei
How come you're looking at prana when you're saying that bird is having hua pātero?
Ko mohe noati te iwi mene ko pātero ai. Whatitiri ki te rangi, prauni ki te whenua.
Prauni ki te whenua.
Do you have one for snoring?
Well. Haruru te whare, eh? Kani rākau, te kani rākau. Koe te kani rākau I nā pō. Koe te kani rākau I nā pō. But that's the taha whakangahu. That fun part. Just have a little play around with things every now and then.
You've got to keep it fun.
Got to keep it fun.
Tohu o te matatau hoki o te tangata. Tohu o ki tērā o te matatau o te tangata. Tēnei tana kaha ki te raweke I te reo.
Raweke I te reo,
I runga no hoki tana mohi o ki te reo. Ka raweke hia e. Have a little play around with things. Yeah, that's why I don't really. But it's interesting, Barry, what you're talking about with the hapa. Because they still make hapa. You know, they still make hapa, but we always think, I mean, how good were we at speaking English when we were 10, 11, 12? Pretty fluent, but still had grammatical errors in it, no doubt. And it's the same with the Māori. I mean, they're pretty fluent, but they'll still have little grammatical errors.
And as long as you're exemplifying the right way of saying it, you're not allowing them to perfect the mistake, as they say.
And we like to get them exposure to the top level speakers. Like this fella in Timoti, we take them to Kurareo and stuff, so they're amongst that. You know, exposed to other top level speakers, and they can. Because one thing that I think that we underestimate in our language learning and acquisition is imitation. Is imitation. So it's just listening to someone and imitating how they speak. Because there's sometimes I'll say something and I'll say, geez, whatever, said exactly that. And it's just come out, but it's just because I listen to them a lot. Timoti, same thing. Like that AI sentence. The AI, how you use that. I don't think I ever got formally taught that, but I remember just listening to Timoti a lot and how he would use it.
That's the example.
And then all of a sudden I used the AI and I was going, geez, how did I learn that? That was just imitating how he does it. And so there's value in imitation, but there's a whole lot of different ways of learning, a whole lot of different ways of learning.
I never thought I heard you say that. Wharehu and Timoti taught you how to ai.
Trust you.
Jeez, Kotahi te aronga whakaaro. Not that I, babe. Horopaki, Chief. Horopaki.
Family show.
Family show. We're going to R16 now.
So where do your kids learn English?
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, okay. So part of the strategy, the plan was we actually appointed English language monitors in the family. So we got people who monitor their English. So it's my mum and Stace's dad, who are both, you know, quite fussy about how English is spoken.
Oh, well.
Even when we speak English, they were correcting our English. So we thought, all right, you two, because we're not speaking any English to them, you two are the English language monitors. You're going to be monitoring the English language and fixing the English as you go. But the thing is that we managed to debunk a lot of pōhehe-tanga out there, because they go, if you're only in reo, their reading age won't be as good. That's going to affect their English and all that. I mean, our daughter, she's 10. I think her reading age is 13. Hawaii's 12. His reading age is 15. So they're right up there. And I think it's the same with a lot of our kids in Kura Kaupapa Māori. Their reading ages are through the roof. And it's probably because they've opened all the neurological pathways in their brains that don't usually get opened up, because people are monolingual, but they open up all these other parts of the brain.
Ngā roro. Ka pai.
Te roro? No, it's ngā roro.
Wana ngano te raro.
Kei rungi i te waka, kei roto rāne i te waka. It's a crack up. Oe no? Tēnā koe i te kawhe ahoa? Koe nei te kawhe tino reka rawa atu i tōkua katoa.
There was a ngāpui kawhe.
There was a ngāpui kawhe.
Ngā toki matawhare, kua murua e koe tō hara i tāhei rā koe i taku tūranga waka.
Ka pai, kua wā.
Koe ea katoa tēnā hara. Hei mihana kia koutou katoa. I te pōhiri mai iau, engari kua pau taku kawhe no re me haere. Kua pau hoki te kōrero. Te puna kōrero.
Ko rongo i te kōrero, ka nui ke atu i te ono marama. Taku pātu i kia koe. Oe no, e rere ana ngā kupu aroha.
Kia ono rā, pai tonu tērā. Ono rā.
Hei te pūpea. Oe no.
Kia mōhio ai o pehe ana koe. Kia mōhio ai o, he hoa tonu tōku kei tēnei au, ko paraone taku hoa Kotahi. E pātuhi tonu mai ana kia au. Ene me ana kia koutou. Tēnā koutou e me te harihuri tau. Kia Taringa.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Tika.
Whakanuia. Kua kōrero tātou mo te whakanui kaupapa. Whakanuia.
Tika.
Me ana kia koutou.
Kia ora.
Gather up close, everybody.
Kaore he tangata i tu atu. I aia?
Ia.
Kāre hoki he painga.
Kāre hoki he painga, ai.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool. That was wicked.
Practical.
Yeah, practical.
Sociable. He ano, relative.
Yep, those are the three things. And then creating time zones where you can speak te reo or rumaki, using rumaki as...
And it was so right about how he said everyone goes around and puts labels on things. Then you kind of just, you see the labels and you don't really remember
too much. I'll put a kupu Māori on.
Yeah.
Because I have totally done that at home. But now I'll put labels on things and take them off.
Ko ia ihi, nānei ha.
And you don't need to put 1,000, yeah. You don't need to put 1,000 labels around your whare. Hey, maybe just start on the kihini on a few things.
And another tool they said to encourage, once you start using ngaruiti, to take that label away because it's already, that's your association with it.
And if you're speaking in te reo Pākehā, still, use those kupu Māori.
Use what you've had, So it is, it's about being resourceful of what you have, first of, taking that stock take that he says to. So what do you have to work with first? Go from there and then build from there. But so much in there.
Hey, I didn't trust you to park in his park.
Well, it's always been a waka thing.
Okay. A cup of tea, mākora?
Kia ora.
Hi, tēnā koa.
Pango, please.
It gets a bit cold. I'm going to put on a hoodie. One of our prototypes for our merchandise.
It's a bit maiki.
Wera rawa. Te wera. Pirangi hui te kune.
What are you fellas doing here?
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kei te hea koe.
Oh, kei te pai.
Tēnā koe.
E pewhi ana kōrua.
Ka nui te pai, me koe.
Ai, kei te pai.
Kei te prakete i māu i te reo.
That is so perfect. We're just having a wānanga out there about ako i te reo.
Ako i te reo.
You two will be perfect for our wānanga. You should so come.
If you've got room for us. Tēnā pai.
Yeah, of course we do.
Ka pai. Wake tātou.
Right, that's us.
Haere koe, mākui, taku hoi, haere mai.
Boy, guess what? You'll never guess who I found.
Hey, boy! Hey! Tai hoa ke
Karo
pene.
haka, hara mai koe hai hauni, kia ora koe.
Kia ora.
Oi. Ruwhi ana.
Pai ana. Pai rau atu, nai.
Tēnā koe, pai.
Tēnā koe.
Tō kai ako.
No mai.
Kia ora.
And I found these two in the kitchen making our cup of tea.
Well, I was just wondering, are our tea's turning into a lowercase t if everything's taking so long?
Kia te lowercase t kua hei.
Te reka hoki o tēnei tea.
Pai noi o maua ko kaona i roto i te kihine. Parakite i ana i te reo.
Kia ora.
Anu nei te hōtaka o Ōpaki.
Tēka.
He momo ōpaki anō te.
He momo ōpaki anō tēnei.
Kia mohe mai kōrero i ko nei te manahau, i nā tata nei. Ana, e kōrero ana mātou muetahi rautaki kōrero i te reo, ki te kāinga. Tupuna no mai, when did the Parkers car, pirangi tāre ki te golf place.
But in his space.
Ai.
He toki rau ko Stacey ki te whakatairanga i te reo o te kāinga, ne? He maha ngā rautaki. Kōrero i te reo i te kāinga.
Ko nā tarai taki pai.
Kōrero ana koe i te reo i te kāinga?
Ai, ko etahi o te wā.
Oh, cool.
Ai, Ki taku tamahine, ko te nuinga o te wā. Ko ai hiiti i te kōrero Māori. Ko au te ihu hupe o te reo.
Oh, good on you.
Ko te rā, ka whakangungu au i a rā.
Rawe hoki.
How did you guys get started in your whare?
We just started. It was interesting listening to Scotty talk before and about what the strategies are at home. I just started with books and then I started listening. I listened, which was a bit of a, ko koe te...
Fanboy, he fanboy tēnei.
Tua wahine māku. Kei te mātaki au ki a koe i a rā. Kei ronga te puaka whakata, te ipurangi.
Yeah, and in the kitchen making cup of teas.
Yeah, so just take every chance you've got to listen and to read and to learn and then to use it. It's great talking to kids because they won't correct you. So I've been using the reo, what limited reo I have with my daughter who's 5.5 now, just started at a school where she's speaking Māori as well, at a bilingual school here in Tamaki. So I just started and just try and keep going and try and keep learning and taking her with me really. Yeah.
Cool.
Pewhia koe tohine, i timata koe ki whea. I runga i tōhua rahi ki te ako i te reo.
Timata taku ako i te reo i te wā te kaumatahi tau taku pakeke.
Kia ora.
Kaore he kohanga reo i te rawa, pēra rawa ana taku koe ea re. Kāre te kohanga reo i reira, kāre he kura kaupapa, kāre e rā mea no reira. Intermediate taku tautuatahi ki te ako i te reo, te kaumatahi tau. Kaore anō kia mitu. Haere tonu ana tērā mahi.
Yeah. Tika.
Yeah. I couldn't wait to learn te reo, te kura. Yeah, I couldn't wait. So,
I always thought you were just naturally growing up speaking te reo.
No, listening to te reo, koera te take e tino tautoko anau I te mahi whakarongo, I te tuatahi. Whakarongo kia uru te reo ki roto I a koe, and then try to produce some kupu me e tehi kianga. But te reo was all around me as a kid. I te whare o tō mātou, o mātou kaumātua I te marae. But our mum was from England, so ka reo na reo Māori. And our dad was that generation who went to town to look for mahi. So ka reo kōrero Māori kia mātou. So because we didn't really have it at home, I think koera taku hia, I tino hia, ki te whai. And he rete tone taku ki, taku whakautu ki ngā aunties, what do you want to be when you grow up, bub? Ko taku whakautu, I want to be a Māori. Koera taku whakautu, I want to be a Māori.
Cool.
Arohana, ne?
Ai. I pērā hoki au. He pērā anō.
Yes, Francis.
Ai. Thank you, Christine.
Kia ora, tēnā tāua.
E ne tika, e wā tōna I au I te kura, ko Francis taku ingoa. Engari anō taku kuia, my nan never called me Francis, and she'd have to ask, ka pātai mai, koe anō te o ingoa Pākehā? Me say, Francis, kao. Prao ne tō ingoa o tana karangatanga ingoa moku ko puku nui, I don't know why. Engari I au I te kura ka tai ki te takawainga me te kura tuarua, I reira ka huri au. Nā taku kaiako tērā. Ka mea ka whakamahia tō ingoa Māori.
Ka pai.
No reira, koera te wā I tino huri taku ingoa. Ana I reira tino huri nei aku whakaaro. Ki te reo, me ngā mea katoa, but I aku hoa tata mētahi tonu o ngā huanga. They sometimes call me Francis. But it's mostly brown and brown.
He ingoa Māori tōu? Ingoa Māori tōu?
Well, my wife's family gave me a Māori name for Guyon, which was Kaone.
Kaone.
Yeah, so they call me that sometimes, yeah.
Would you be different to Kaone?
Kaone.
Pai hoki tērā. Ingoa hoi anō.
Pai ake mena I one.
He Māori tō wahine?
Ai.
No whea.
Tū kore he.
Ka pai.
Tū kore he. Ki Otaki.
E whanaunga tātou.
Kuku.
Ai. Koina. Yeah, koina te marae.
Ngāti tū kore.
Ai.
O he tainui. Nā whai anō. Ana, hei, timata koe ki te ako I te formally e mea nei koe nei.
Ai, I te kura.
I te kura. And then, I ki te rā nei koe I a koe I ngā tau I mua nei, I tēnei nohoanga. You ever see yourself, you were going to be a Māori teacher?
Ai.
Nera?
Ai.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Or teacher of te reo Māori, I should say.
E te mutunga o taku haere ki te kura tuarua, you know, what do you call that thing when you go and find a pathway?
Like a careers advisory.
Careers
advisor.
Kai whakaako, koera te ara I pūkanakana mai I mua iau. Ka tuku au taku tono, and neck mana, kāre whakaitea.
Nera waki.
Ai, whakaitea aku hoa, kore take nei ki te mai whakaako I te kura. I whai wāhi rātou kāra I whai wāhi, nō reira. I whai au I te huarahi o te social sciences, anthropology, hitori, e te hatu mahi. Hei whakawhānui I te titiro. Kātahi au ka tau ki roto I tētahi kaupapa learning English, teaching English as a foreign language to adults. Si te whla te ingo te rā tohu. Rao e katoa te rā tohu ki au. Ka whakawhitihia e rā mātauranga ki te reo Māori. Tēnō hāngai. Teaching Māori as a foreign language to Māori.
Tika.
Awa pērā e tehi waku mahi nai nei.
Hea e tahi o kōrero āwhina. Ki te hunga e hihi ana ki te whai tēnei hura. I kāta e kārua. E tahi tips pēr ki ngā kaiako o te reo Māori. E whakaako nei te reo ki a rātou tauira. Hea e tahi
E rua e rā pātai motu hake. Tuatahi, ko aku tips ki te hunga pēnei taku hoa huanga rānei no tū kore. Taukete.
Tō au tāne.
Hai, e whai ana i te reo, whakawhānuhia te puna kupu, ne, i pai tō ruku ki ngā kupu, ki te ako kupu, i te tuatahi. Ko ngā kupu vocab is your building blocks of your whare.
Te pūtakitanga.
Te pūtaki o tō whare, kōrero. Ne? Nō reira, mehemea he maha o kupu, mō ngā mea katoa, kaore pōturi te rere o whakaaro. If you have to wait for 3-4 seconds to think, what's the word for? Yeah. Then you'll get stuck.
That's me.
He taiapa kei mua i a koe. So if you learn lots of vocab, then at least you've got some tools to call on when your crazy hinengaro's going round and round thinking, reo Pākehā, reo Māori, ko te whea te huarahi tika. So vocab. Hei pūtake mo te whare kōrero. And then you learn how to put that vocab into phrases. And then from phrases, kianga, ka ako koe i ngā rerenga kōrero. And there's rules for sentence structures. Get those rules, crack the codes. And honestly...
Crack the code.
Hieroglyphics, man.
Anei nā hieroglyphics o te reo kaone.
Te papa code.
Koira ki au. It's mathematical.
Pangarau.
Ai, kia ora, tēnā koe i tēnā
Kia ora, te kupu Māori.
Kia ora, koe.
Yeah, it's putting the pieces of the puzzle together, ne? Nā rerenga kōrero.
He kuari nōku ki tēnei mahi.
Te pāngarau.
Te reo Māori.
Ne?
He kuari nōku ki nei rā. Aha ko te rā. Haere tonu ni. Moaki tonu. Tō ngaki.
Koira te huarahi. Crack the code, find out what the codes are and then crack them. And they don't change. Pēnei te whakahua, it doesn't change. A, e, I, o, u. Poto, roa. Kaore rereke. Pērai te reo Pākehā, ka golf, ka cough, ka trowel, ka aha. He rereke, ko aua kupu tonu. Engari ka rereke. So Māori is actually a lot more simple than we think it is. So crack the codes and then find out how to manipulate the parts of the sentence to say, kei te haere, I haere, I te haere, ka haere, and what all those things mean, the differences in the meaning. Tēnā koe, kia pai. And then find friends to talk to. Ki me e hoa kōrero rero mō. So you can use it because he hātaua kiwaha, ki te kore koe e whakamahi I tō reo ka ngaro. Ne? Use it or... Lose it.
Yeah, use it or lose it.
So koira aku tips mō te hunga e whai ana I te reo e timata ana ki te whai I te reo. Whai tautoko ana koe I era tips?
Yeah, I mean, talking to, having people that you talk to in Te Reo Māori every day is a great one. Luckily, I've got some people at Te Reo Rangi Aotearoa, the Radio New Zealand, where I can kōrero to them. But yeah, totally, and my daughter and my wife to some degree. But yeah, I think that's right. I think also what I've recognised is if you can take it off the page of the books or off the programs that you're listening to and turn it into something that you're going to use all the time, like there's no point learning words and context that you're not going to use. Like for me, I talk about politics a lot, right? Tōrangapū and kai tōrangapū. So it's a politics. And so you can see I'm getting like, so something that I'm interested in, and something that I can talk about. So I love listening to Wātea or something, and they're talking about politics, and so I'm in there and listening, I'll get more of that. Or Hakinakina, and I'm interested in, if it's a sport I'm interested in, I can go, oh yeah. But so quite often we're reading about books, and we kind of, because a lot of learning set up for kids, we're like, the person picked up the green book and you've learned all that, but you never get, and then you get to your mates and you're hoping to use a phrase and you're going, hey, do you want to pick up the green book? But it never comes. No one ever wants to pick up the green book. But if you're saying, kia nei whakaro mō te rautaki o te kāwanatanga, e hangai ana ki te pūtea, you know, whatever, you know, what's the government strategy for this money or something like that. And then I'm in, then I'm like, you know, so I guess my only advice, you know, as a beginner is try and learn words and contexts and phrases in subjects you're interested in. Or if you're going into a situation where you know there's going to be Māori speakers and you want to use your reo, learn a couple of the words for that so that when you first get there, you know what it is. You know, so like when that awful Christchurch massacre happened, I knew people would be talking about it, and I was like, as a parikura, the Te Kupu for like a massacre, right? You know, so learn some of the words if you're going to go into that situation, and do a little bit of prep beforehand.
Kia ora.
And then you're into it. But the broad advice from me I've found is, learn words first when you're starting out to that you're going to want to talk about.
Kia ora.
Just how Scotty had mentioned earlier, that they had to learn a whole new reo, like the playground, instructional reo for tamariki and stuff like that. So it's the same thing, as long as it's applicable to your landscape. It's easier to use because you get to use it all the time.
I think one of the first phrases I learned was something like, "Kawe waiho tapu tapu takoro kia marara noa ki te papa." Because, and I probably got that wrong. Don't, you know, because my daughter, don't leave your stuff all over the ground. It's like, oh, kei te wako niko, like, come and brush your teeth. And so I started using, and because it's great talking to kids because they never say, you know.
But it's cute if they do correct it. Like, oh, come boy.
But it's amazing. They just suck it all up, kids. Like what you were talking about, you know, whakarongo. And that's what I'd say to Pākehā too. Like you don't always have to be talking. It's quite good. So part of your motivation for learning the reo can be, you know, listening. So come along and listen. You don't always have to be the kai kōrero, you know. So part of us for our motivation as Pākehā learning, you know, can be listening to someone else for a change. But kids are funny because they will, and my daughter's like this, she's 5.5. She understands most of what I'm saying to her, but she won't use it herself yet, and I think that'll come later. That's okay, just absorbing it and listening, and then the speaking comes a bit later. And I think that's not bad advice for adults as well.
I think we underestimate the importance of conversation and how people really want to converse with each other. Koira tētahi whāinga te tangata, kia hono atu ki te tangata. Nō reira, he pai te whakatauira i tērā, koira taku whakautu ki ngā kaiako Māori, whakatauira hia te reo, i Wainganui o Hoa. He rereke te ahua take o nei te, me kōrero Māori koe, tamariki mā, kōrero Māori koutou, inga wā katoa, inga wāhi katoa, kātai koe ka huri, oh, how was your day? Ka kitenga tamariki i a koe, pērā na kaore rātou e whakapono ki o tohu.
Tika.
Nō reira me whakatinana, me whakatauira i tērā. I Wainganui a koro kotohoa, have a little bit of Māori code language going on, and your daughter will listen and she'll want to know what you're talking about. Kaua kōrero i te reo
whawhi.
And you could pretend that, you know, it's something really funny. Just, kei tō tātou te mahine, what are they talking about? Nā, ko te e whakatō ana koe te kākano o te hia ki te mōhio he ha te tikanga o kōrero. That's a good little strategy. Taki pai, it worked for me.
Everyone wants to be included.
Ai. E rā wā, 70s, you know, kaumātua i konei, tamariki konei. Go and play, go outside and play, go outside and play. Wā, kaumātua i roto I te whare, e kōrero Māori ana rātou ki a rātou. Kaere mātou whai wāhi ki a rātou kōrero. We weren't really part of their discussions or conversations, but I reira te reo e rere ana.
Pai, nō rea koe nā tētai o tips ki te hunga
Kaiako. Whakatauira hia. Te aroha ki te reo. Te aroha ki te reo, te hia ki te kōrero I te reo, I ngā horopaki maha.
That was just reminding me of when I was a kid, and I'd go to the marae, and, you know, during the pōwhiri and while the whai kōrero was going on, I used to find it really boring because I had no idea what they were saying.
Yeah.
But now when I go, I actually listen, and I find it much more interesting because I can understand what they're saying.
And time goes much faster because you're actually engaged.
Yeah.
But if you're not engaged, it can just take long. It takes a long time to get used
So they're
to
not
it.
boring now.
I think that's another good tip too, or something for learners to understand, is that you don't actually have to understand every single word that someone says.
Yeah.
It's fine actually as you're starting out to kapohia te wairua te kōrero. Just get the gist. Just go for the gist.
Grab a bit of it. So what's your advice? Because I find myself in these situations quite a bit where I'm speaking to a really fluent speaker like Stacey or Scotty Morrison or someone like that.
They're not bad, you know.
Yeah. Starting out. And you at first, you're missing quite a bit, and your brain wants to go back and rewind and listen to this word, but are you're better just to let it wash over you, right?
Let it wash. Believe in the process, that it's going to soak in, and at some point you're going to, hey, I heard Stacey say that word 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll lose the whole thing, you know, because I do that myself.
You want it to stop, but then once you've done that, then they're over here.
Then another phrase has passed and you've missed the whole thing. You're worried about what's...
I'm fine with big discussions on like big ideas because you can kind of get the gist of it. The problem for me is when people are talking logistics. Like I've been away, like I'm wānanga with them and stuff like that. And someone's saying, you know, totally, shall I pick you up now, later on? Shall we go back here or later? And you're like, what have
I just agreed to? Oh no, I just agreed to come on Taringa. Oh no.
I've turned up at pubs and there's no one there because I'm like, ka here te pāparaka ita. So ne pātoto hia te kua. Me kore ake, hua ki nei ia.
Ka moia mai koe, ahua pērau kia tīmoti. Taku tūtakihanga tuatahitanga ki aia. And he would use words, and he knows you don't know these words that he's using. He just wants to bamboozle you. Well, that's what I think. And he'd use a word, and I'd judge whether he was saying it in jest, or was he being cheeky?
Yeah, you have to watch
was he being serious? And that would dictate whether I'm going to say I or Carl to him. You know, and I say, I. And he's like, ka whai. Oh, yeah, I got that right. And then later, ka te tiro I te chicken. Yeah. I'm like,
I got it. He does it to me in English. I'm like, what did you say in English?
Yeah.
Ka haere au ki te kōrero ai wainganui kia tā Timothy, kia Scotty, I te ata meet up, kōrero rua tāhua, ka pai. And, you know, they finished this thing, and then afterwards we, you know, having a drink outside the theatre, and then mataku tonu au, ka haere au Timothy, yeah, ki konei.
Kōrero ki aia.
And sat down next to me. I was like, oh no. It was, you know, it was him and Scotty, and I was like, you know, it's a karamatamatu o te reo ni. And I was like, I tried to say it, and he corrected me straight away or something. But it was... No mai tapa. Te raitaki maki. But it can be quite intimidating, can't it? You just have to let it wash, really, don't you?
But at least you had a go.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on whakatika hapa, te tuahine, hoki kia koe, hei kai ako, he pewhia tō whakatika, te me herereke ngā taumata reo, ka whai wāhi ati kia koe, herereke te whakatika i te hunga pēnei a māua, i tēnā o te hunga kātahi anō ka ako i te reo, ka ako haere. Hei hae tahi kōrero āwhenei ngā kai ako, te taha ki te whakatika, I kōrero a Scotty mo te what? Passive
correction.
How te passive correction, Puaheiri? Homai tauira.
E haere ana mātou ki te tō, ne?
Ai, haere ana tātou ki te tō.
Ai. E whakatika ana koe i roto i tō whakautu. I te hua ka bamboozle au i te hunga e whakarongoana kia kore.
Te kupu mō bamboozle. Kau mingo?
Whakarangirua. Ka mea au, ne, ko koe ana he, haere ana.
Ai.
Ka titiro mai, Sheesh, kaua kōrero mō tētai atu kaupapa, kei te kōrero mō te haere ki te... Ne, ka tīmata te tangata ki te...
Ka huri ia ki ona
ka riri haere te tangata, ne, i rā mō pātai. Ahoi anō, ko te whakatika hapa, he mahanga taumata o te whakatika hapa, ko te rā tetehi, ko te whakatika i te hapa i roto i o whakatauira tangata.
Kia ora.
Whakatauira tia te tika, kaua tātāhia te tangata, ne? Whakatauira hia te tika. He rite tonu te mahi a Timoti, tērā mahi a Timoti. Ka whakatauira ia. Nō reira e tehi wā, i ēnei rā tonu nei, kōrero anau ka putu mai te reo o Timoti ki taku taringa, he whakatika i taku te tehi waku kōrero ka whakaroa, ai, me mai maharau ki tērā, me mai maharau ki tērā, ne? He pai noa ake te whakatauira i te tika, tēnā i te tātā, i te hunga, i hapa. Nā te nui o ngā whakamā me ngā toimahatanga kei runga i te tangata e ako ana i te reo.
I waia mai tētai aku whanaunga i tētai wai ka me te waia. Kia ora ki wese, kia ora ka me tērā. Ko wai tēnei, kia tau. Aua, ko wai tēnā. Ko wai tēnei, kia tau. Aua, ko wai tēnā. Here we go.
They don't get it, they don't get it.
Oh, come on, cuz.
Yeah. But sometimes ka whakaroa i runga ia ako me ōpaki, ne, e kahana taku, ne? Me ngā karahi, panekiretanga, kia hei whaka parahako i te hapa. Kia moio ai tātou, he mea noiho.
Koe nō ke mea noiho
te hapa.
I te mehe nui te hunga ka hopo i te hapa, tino hopo nei.
Nau mai te hapa. Nō reira, ka whaka...
Nau mai te hapa.
Kia ngahau tātou i roto i te rawa. Ka pakurongo koe te mamai, paku noi honei, e kore koe mate, paku mamai, ka tua no koe, ka mahi anō, ka mahi tonu.
He mamai poto.
He mamai poto.
He mamai poto. Ia tātou e kōrero ana, mo te reo me te ako i te reo me rā mea katoa ka maharake ki tā tātou waiata. E kōrero ana mo te ahira. Ana me te whakakoikoi, te whakakikohara nei, te mata. Ana koe nei mahi, hei whakakoi i o tātou whakaaro. Kia koi tonu ai tātou ki te kōrero. Nā pēnei i tā tātou waiata.
I te kōrero tāu e roto te kihini mō te waiata nei, ko tīmata tō ako, ne? Mai maharana koe hea te kupu Māori mō o te ahi, he kupu anō mō te ahi?
Ai, hatete. Hatete o te reo.
Hatete o te reo.
Ai.
Ana, he hatete i roto i a koe. He hate kupu whakarite mō te ahi.
Ai, te kaha, te hatete ke roto i tō nākau, ke roto i te hininaro, kia manawanui.
Ka pai. Pai,
Kawa he mate whiki, kia manawanui.
Tēnō pai.
Te karawhiua.
Ka pai.
E hara i te beginner.
E mohi ana koe ki te rangi? E mohi ana koe ki te waiata?
Ai. Ko etahi o ngā kupu. Ai. Kawa e kupu katoa i hanga ana ki tō
Kei awai ngā kupu?
Mā mātai koe a whina.
Ka pai.
Ka wai tahi tātou.
Ka pai. Pai, me paku whakamārama pia i te waiata?
Ai.
Pai, te hatete o te reo i titoa tēnei waiata i te rā o ngā whaiaipo. 14th of February, te tehi tau. Whaiaipo. I titoa tō maua hoa e Heketu Blake. Me e tehi o mātaunga i ka whiro te panikiretanga i reira i taua wā. It was he hatau a rā whaiaipo, te ingoa Pākehā, mo te rā whaiaipo. Valentine's, not Hallenstein's Day like some of our whanaunga.
You're on a budget, baby.
Peirei kē kia maota i taku o peirei te Valentine's Day.
Anyway, i reira māua, ana, i te kāinga o māua hoa. No? E he rite tonu tā māua, haere ki ngā wānanga, ka whakarere a te hoa ki te kāinga. Nō reira, i whakaro māua me tito waiata mō te reo, te aroha ki te reo.
Kia ora.
Mō te hei whakanui i te Valentine's Day. Mō te reo te Valentine, ne? Te kaingākau. Te reo te kaingākau. Te hatete o te reo, te tungia, ko te tutungi, ko te stoke. Te tungia, te hatete o te reo, stoke the fire of te reo inside you. Ne? Kia kongange, he kupu, e hara tērei te kupu hapanihi. Kongange. Kongange. E hara i te momo wai, kangan. He kongange ke, ko te ahi kaha, tērā. Te kaha o te ahi.
So that's the strength of the fire.
Blazing fire. So you're feeding the fire of aloha for te reo inside you, making it strong. Kongange, kia pū kauri.
Kia pū kauri,
Kia whita. Blazing fire. And we want to keep stoking the fire with different ways of learning, different contexts, getting yourself in to use it so that you don't lose it, contexts, so that it doesn't, kia kore ai e kewa. Kia kore ai e kewa, so that the ahi doesn't, kia kore ai e pirau, e poko, he maanga kupu mo te rā āhua. So we're trying not to lose the flame and looking after the embers, of the fire inside us.
Kia ora.
Ka pai? So the end bit, Mr. Kaone, hei mahi mau, taku ahi tū tata, kōrera mai, taku ahi tū tata taku mata kikoha.
Taku ahi tū tata taku mata kikoha.
Te kanaku whita o te reo e...
Hi.
Piro!
Too much.
Bye-bye. Tutunia te hatete o te re, e te ahunga o hare. Tutunia te hatete o te reo, kia komange, kia pukauri. Kei pure hua ka piroku ka kewa, ko te kanaku whita, o koingo nako me ngiha. Ko ni takatia kia pua huru te roho, ahi tū tata taku mata ki koha. Ko te kanaku whita, o koingo nako me ngiha. Ko ni takatia kia pua huru te roho, taku ahi tū tata taku mata ki koha. Ke kure hua ka piroku, kia kongange, kia pukauri. Tutunia te hatete o te reo, taku ahi tū tata taku mata ki koha. Te kanaku whita o te reo e.
E ngai iwi ngai taringa mā I piri mai ki tēnei te whakapāhotanga tahirau o taringa. Anei rā mātou mihi nei kia koutou. O tira e hoa mai te tuahine, kai on kōrua tahi, e mihi nei kia kōrua. Ana kua rangatira tā mātou noho I tō kōrua tainga mai. Ana ki te hapai ake I tēnei kaupapa. E are a taringa mai, te katoa ki te whakarongo. Anei ki o kōrua whiako I roto I ngā tau, hei awhina I a rātou me ki ia mātou, ara, ia tātou katoa. Ka ora, tātou katoa. Nō reira, e mihi atu ana tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako, kōrero flowing out the hooker force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira, whakarongo pi kari mai, hare mai, o Taringa, hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody, gather up close everybody. Kani move that body, kani move that body.
Taringa. He mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe. Taringa, whakarongo mai.